Welcome to Tom Clark's Substack podcast.
Today, I want to talk about voting. Have you voted yet, kids? Have you made your voice heard? Is there early voting happening in your state? Are you mailing your ballot in? Or are you going to wait till November 5th? It's around the corner, man. Not far. It's not far. It's almost here. Can you believe it's almost here? It's crazy, man. The whole thing's crazy. I got to be honest with you. But it's here. I voted last week, so I'm in North Carolina, right? Our first day of early voting was a week ago this past Thursday. A week ago today as I record this. And I went that morning. It was around 11 a.m. I was on the way from my house to my office. And there was a line from the front door that wrapped all the way down the sidewalk. It was massive. At 11 a.m. And I'm like, well, hopefully this is a good sign for the candidate that needs to win, the candidate that should win, the candidate that by all intents and purposes, for everything that we understand as normal humans walking around, attempting to function as a species, as a civilization, as a society together, because we're in this together, the candidate that should win, we hope this is a good sign for her because she's the one that needs to win. Look, I've never been disrespectful to anyone. I try not to go after anybody. I'm not that kind of guy, okay? But let me tell you, she's the right choice, all right? I don't want to pull any punches this time. Let me take a step back. First off, how are you? How's things going in your neck of the woods, man? Is everybody out there okay? You doing all right? How's your week been so far? Can you believe it's already through another week? You know, I've never been one of those people who subscribe to the idea of, oh, time flies. Can you believe how fast time goes? Because the logical side of my brain tells me, well, that's just nonsense. Time doesn't move any faster today than it ever did. Our perception of it can change, of course. That's logic speaking, right? That's what logic tells us, is that our perception of time changes. A lot of it's based on age. A lot of it's based on if you got kids. If you're actively watching something age in front of you, grow up in front of you, right? It affects how you perceive time. My kid is 16. And so it'd be very easy for me to sit here and talk about, time flies, but I'm not going to do it. Again, easy to do, not going to do it. So my week's been okay, by the way. It's been all right. I'm continuing to get work, freelance work, but it's work, it's money, which I need. I need for my family. I need for my situation. Still do not have a full-time gig lined up, although what I have 2 freelance jobs right now, which together will give me more than enough hours that I need. It won't quite give me enough money, but again, man, here's where I'm at. It's where a lot of other people are in this country right now, is that I'll take whatever work I can get and I'll layer things together, okay? Because something is better than zero, all right? That's my reality right now. It's been my reality for months. And look, I don't want to get back into it. I've made it very clear that, things happen. Sometimes you're not a good fit for certain roles. And I'm just not the kind of guy to hold a grudge against anybody for anything. Life is way too short. That much I'm certain of. Whether or not you believe in the whole time moves fast and flies by nonsense. I do agree with the idea that life's too short. So I'm not going to be that guy. But yeah, man, it's the world we live in right now. This is what we have. And again, the idea that in this country that the job market is what it is. Look, I have said on multiple occasions that if that guy and that wacky dude and his wacky people, you see how I try to keep this clean? I do this because I'm a professional, right? And because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person to sit here and throw stones and call names. I'd love to. Right? But what good does that do? What good does that do, honestly? Not at all. But look, I've said many times here and in other places that if that guy and his wacky people can somehow convince your average everyday working class guy and gal that they've got it figured out, that they're going to be able to fix the economy, then Kamala Harris might be in trouble. And I don't say that because I believe the president and or vice president or whatever combination of those two individuals, whatever, have the power to press a big red shiny button in the White House and it's labeled fix economy, put people back to work. I just don't, that button doesn't exist, kids. And for whatever reason, that side, I'm talking about the Republican side, for whatever reason is convinced that the job market is the worst it's ever been. We know that's not true. If you keep up with, unbiased reports, if you keep up with websites who report on the economic conditions of this country, who don't have a dog in the hunt in terms of who wins this election, then you can see the economic indicators, they're very good right now. The market's in much better shape than it has been in quite a long time. But here's where the rubber meets the road, kids. This is the truth. What matters the most to people is what they see when they go to the grocery store. It's what they see when they go to put gas in their car. It's what they see when they try to go to the movies. It's what they see when they try to, you name it. Go anywhere and do anything. Go to a restaurant. Name it, right? That's what people see. Because your only frame of reference is what's right in front of you at the time that it's in front of you. That's your frame of reference. Now, it doesn't mean that you're right, but it also doesn't mean you're wrong either. Is there a big magic button sitting on the president's desk right now where President Biden can just boom, fix the economy? No, it's not real. I say that to say this. President Biden didn't put us in a situation where the job market is crap, okay? He didn't put us in a situation where the grocery prices are out of control, where restaurant prices are out of control, where you can't afford to, listen, you may as well just buy a loaf of bread and a pack of bologna at this point, if you can stomach that stuff. I gave up on bologna years ago, all right? But if you can stomach that stuff, that's what you do because, man, you got to save money because you can't afford to do anything at this point, right? At the end of the day, does that matter? I'm asking, does it matter that the president cannot directly control prices in this country? I would say probably not. I don't think it matters because the only thing people know is that they're feeling the crunch. They've been feeling the crunch for a good long time. I don't agree with hardly anything that the Republican side says. From the moment that they threw in with this guy and backed his play and everything that he says, they swear an oath that he's telling the truth. Brother, you lost me. You lost me. Look, I voted Republican most of my life. I'm just saying, up until 4 years ago, I sure did. But I'll tell you this, I'll never vote that way again. Not after I see what that party's become. And look, to be fair, it's entirely possible that party was always the way it is right now. It's just they didn't have, they just didn't have some kind of wackadoodle fascist at the head of the thing saying what a lot of those folks were already thinking. By the way, that's popular opinion, honestly. And I don't like to really go down that path too awful much because that means, friends and family and acquaintances and coworkers over the years, that they're all, their heads in really bad places if they believe the stuff that this guy spouts off and that party crams down your throat every chance they get, okay? So I don't want to think about that stuff. But here's what I'll tell you. Again, I don't agree with hardly anything that comes out of there. But there's one thing that they repeated over and over and over and over again, that they're not seeing a difference in prices. I will agree with that. I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference either. Are you? What part of the country are you in the United States, first of all? If you're not, hey, be glad you don't got to deal with this nonsense. But if you are in the States, what part of the country are you in right now? Have you seen a drop in prices? Have you seen that it's, it's more affordable now? That your grocery bill's gone down? How about your utilities, man? How's that working out for you? My water bill last month, are you freaking kidding me? I don't even want to talk about it. As I said, where the rubber meets the road is, if you can't convince everyday working class stiffs that you're going to get control of this through your policies, through your plan, okay? If you can't convince them, you will not be voted in. And that includes her. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. If anyone listening to this right now actually believes this country can stand 4 more years of that clown, man, are you kidding me? I just don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say about that because I don't know what more convincing you need. And we talked about this recently, like in terms of undecided voters, what more do you need to understand what this guy's capable of? What more do you need to understand how freaking terrible it is to vote for this guy, to stand up with him? Every time he opens his mouth, he gives you another reason not to vote for him. Think about that. I laugh, but it's not funny. Not really, okay? But really, really think about this, man. Every time he opens his mouth, he gives you another reason not to vote for him. It's stunning. It is stunning the amount of people that still have this guy's back. Can we be honest? It's stunning, all right? I've had conversations with folks that I call friends. I've had conversations with folks that I consider to be intelligent. And I come away from those conversations thinking, oh my God, what's happened? Did you hit your head? Did you get money? Right? Are you, is there a magic spell? Are you hexed? What's going on? I'm not trying to make light of it. It's the last thing I want to do. Because again, none of this is funny, man. This is dangerous, dangerous stuff. And I get it. I am just one guy, one podcaster saying stuff. That's all I am. And at the end of the day, every podcaster is just one guy or a collection of guys or gals or whatever, just saying stuff. That's really all I'm doing. I mean, what in the world would make anyone want to listen to me and listen to my opinion or whatever? No one on their side wants to hear it. I guarantee you that. If you vote Democrat, then you and I are probably going to be on the same page on, I mean, it could be 100% of everything here. I don't know. So you know what I'm talking about. If you're a Republican and you stumbled upon this and you're like, oh, there's just another talking head coming after Trump. Trump's normal. Trump cares about me. Brother, let me just tell you right now. Do I think that President Joe Biden cares about me? No. Do I think Vice President Kamala Harris cares about me? Are you kidding? Seriously? Do you think that I think either one of these folks care anything about me in my current situation in this country? Are you kidding? See, here's the difference between myself and folks that are going to vote for this clown. All right? I don't believe that the candidate I'm voting for loves me. I don't believe that they'd want to hang out with me. I don't believe we'd even have anything in common. Can we be real here? I think I would just be another person they'd meet and shake their hand. I think I'd just be another guy voting for them and saying nice things to their face. And the next day, they'd forget everything about me. They'd forget everything about me, man. Do I think they care about me? They don't care about me. They want my vote. Do you understand? Now, do I think there's anything sinister behind that? Look, I don't know. I mean, the image that we see projected in front of us every day on TV, on social media, all over the place, that's the image they want to project, right? How do I know she's not evil behind the scenes? How do I know she's not, doing crazy stuff behind closed doors? I don't have any idea. None of us can really know, can we? That's the problem. But do I think she's dangerous to this country? Not a chance. Never say never, right? You're dumb if you do. So I can't say there's zero chance something terrible couldn't happen if she gets elected. But I'll tell you this. The chances of something terrible not happening if he gets reelected, it's impossible. I'm sorry. That's a never situation for me. And I know what I just said. I don't care. I do not care. Vote, kids. Do not wait. The lines on November 5th are probably going to be insanely long. Do not wait. I've been wanting to do this show, this podcast for a week, and I just haven't had a chance. But I'm doing it right now. And I'm telling you, if you're waiting till November 5th, knock it off. Get out of your house and go vote. Find your place, whatever that place is in town, the town you live in, and go make it happen, man. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. She needs every vote she can get. Not because I don't think that she doesn't have a chance. That's not it. She's got way more than a fighting chance at this point. Look, it shouldn't even be close. This guy shouldn't have 20% of the vote. Are you freaking kidding me right now? What's happened to us, man? Where are we that this is even this close to begin with? Do I believe you're an idiot if you vote for him? No, I don't believe that. But I do believe that at some point during your thought process, you have lost touch with reality. It doesn't mean I think you're stupid. It doesn't mean I think that he's completely fooled you and that you're a drone, okay? But somewhere along the way, you have given up part of yourself to vote for this guy. It's how I feel. I used to think that we were just two different sides of the coin and, You could vote the way you wanted to, and it didn't, the who you voted for didn't, directly speak to the kind of person you are. I'm sorry, I don't believe that anymore. I just don't. Again, it doesn't mean I'm going to think badly of you. I know people are going to vote for this guy. I don't think badly of them, but I do believe in my heart of hearts, okay, that they've given up something in order to be okay with voting for this guy. You know what I gave up to vote for Kamala Harris? Nothing. Nothing. I was never more sure in my life to vote for President Biden 4 years ago, and I was never more sure to vote for Kamala Harris today, or last week, right? I'm just telling you where I'm at in this whole process, man. That's where I'm at. Speaking of voting, let me pivot. It's not a hard pivot. It's still incredibly related. The Undertaker, also known as Mark Calloway, and Glenn Jacobs, also known as Kane, if you're a wrestling guy or gal, then you know who I'm talking about, have endorsed Donald McDonald. I love that, by the way. Isn't it awesome? That McDonald's nonsense. Get the frick out of here with that crap, man. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? You only did it because you claim she didn't do it. Because you're thumbing your nose at her. Because that's all you do. You've got your base calling her lying Kamala. Are you kidding me? You clown. What are you talking about? Lying. He wants to really? You're doing that? Please. I'm sorry. I'm in a fairly okay mood right now. And again, I'm tired of pulling punches, man. This ain't pro wrestling. Speaking of pro wrestling, Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, like I just said, have endorsed this clown. And they had the nerve, by the way, to mention Batista's name in that cute little video they did. Because Batista came out, there's a video of him in the gym. And by the way, it's awesome. If you haven't seen this video, go out of your way to find it. It's on my Twitter. It's only like 1:20. That's it. But he's obviously, there's a cage behind him. He's got gloves on. He's training, and he's awesome. But Batista's the man. Okay. Number one. Number two, this guy didn't hold back. And he made some great points in that short little video that every time Trump loses something, it's rigged. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything's rigged. That's why this guy covers himself. That's why if he loses on November 5th, if they start counting the votes and it's obvious that he's lost, he hadn't lost. Because this ain't over. It won't be over until it's over. And I don't know what that means. I certainly don't want a repeat of January 6th. We don't need that. I'm going to tell you right now, if we have that, we're in trouble. All of us, okay? I'm telling you, that'll have far-reaching effect. I firmly believe that, man. So we certainly we didn't need to see the first one. But we definitely don't need to see this one. Whether he wins or loses, it's not going to be good for us. It'll be far, far worse if he wins. But it's not going to be a day in the park if he loses either. And hopefully you guys know that. Look, here's what I'll tell you as a wrestling fan. By the way, I've got a wrestling podcast. I usually don't push my other stuff here, but it's Tom Clark's Main Event. Look it up, please, and thank you. I'd appreciate it. We've known as wrestling fans for years that WWE leans far, far right, okay? And they lean Republican. Not most of their top guys, but some of their top guys are. The guy that was running the company sure was, and his wife, who was in Trump's cabinet, right? Think about this. Nothing should surprise us at this point. Nothing should surprise anybody. So when Taker came out and said, oh yeah, I'm going to root for this guy, Donald McDonald all the way, none of us were surprised as wrestling fans. None of us, man. None of us were shocked by that. A lot of those dudes lean right. Okay? I don't know why. None of my business, I don't suppose. It's their choice. They can vote for who they want to, endorse who they want to. By the way, this here little podcast, as well as all my other podcasts, officially endorse Kamala Harris for president. I don't care. All right? I'm sorry. It's just, it's how I feel. It's how I feel, man. So yeah, that little bit of something came out this week. And, not a good look, but apparently Taker doesn't care anymore. For a dude that spent most of his career not saying anything or saying very little, he sure has been talking since he retired, hasn't he? Yeah, this is where we are, man. What does they always say? Don't meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed because they won't be able to live up to it. Look, if you're still a Taker fan, that's fine, I guess. If you're still a Vince McMahon fan, despite all the stuff that Vince McMahon's not a good dude, okay? And this idea that this whole thing with Janelle Grant is a scam, are you freaking kidding me? You're serious right now with that. Now look, none of us really knows anything. I'm getting off on a tangent on this pro wrestling stuff, aren't I? None of us really know anything because it's, what happened was between them and happened between them and other people, and then covered up by like-minded individuals in his inner circle, in my opinion. It's what it seems that way anyway, doesn't it? It's how it looks. So none of us really know the actual honest truth. Let me tell you something right now. Where there's smoke, you know how to finish that. And this thing's smoking like crazy. We're choking on it, okay? So if you still want to have this guy's back, I guess nobody can stop you. It's freaking weird, but whatever, okay? Can you look at yourself in the mirror tomorrow? Be honest with me. Can you? Buddy, I can. I'm only human. I make mistakes, okay? I've not always voted for the right person in the past. I'll be honest with you. But I've never been more clear today than I ever have been politically. And by the way, I'm voting for the candidate that is not coming after me and not coming after, any women that I know, that doesn't want to tell us how to live, that doesn't want to tell us how to worship or tell us to worship, that's not coming after me telling me what to read, what to listen to, how to dress, what to say, and how to say it. That's the difference. And again, you can have your opinion. You can be of whatever mind you want to be of. And if you believe that, President Biden and Kamala Harris are the devil incarnate and they're trafficking children and they're, doing incantations at night and wearing witches' hats, I guess if that makes you happy. I just can't imagine spending my days hating people. Hating people who don't look like me, who don't sound like me, who don't think like me, who don't talk like me, who don't dress like me, who don't have sex the way I do. All these other things. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. It defies logic that you would want to vote a vote is an endorsement, right? A vote is a sign of support. Would you support someone in your family that sounds like he does? I'm being real here. This is not hyperbole. This is not just talk for the sake of talking. I'm genuinely curious. Would you actually support someone that sounds the way he sounds? What if it was your grandfather or your uncle? What was your dad or your husband? Would you be okay with that? He's not a man. I'm telling you right now, at all. I won't call him the stuff that Batista called him. It's, again, you want to go find the video, go find it. So I won't go that south. Will I call him a clown? Oh, you better believe it, because he is one, okay? He has been probably most of his life. He very much is now. It's all about power. That's why that party will say they'll support anything he says. They'll back his play no matter what he does, no matter what he says or no matter what he does. They got his back. It's atrocious. It's frightening. It's horrific. It is October, right? Halloween, scariest thing I've ever seen. And that's not a joke. That's a flat out truth. This should horrify all of us. And the fact that it doesn't, that's scary in and of itself. Absolute horror movie. Not a very long one here today and not a lot of topics covered, but it's been a couple of weeks since I've recorded an episode here, so I'm on to knock it out. But I appreciate your time. I got to thank everybody here who has listened. Thank you for subscribing, for following the show. I do very much appreciate it. And by the way, I'm still writing. I start a new gig next week with a website called thelist.com. It'll be a little bit more of a departure from the stuff I'm currently doing. I'm still on Substack. You can still find me there. This is the Substack podcast after all. And the podcast is still going strong on that platform. And I will be doing a piece or two coming up in the next week or so. You can find me there at tomclarkpods.substack.com. Please check me out. I also have some work on Medium, medium.com/@tomclarkpods. If you'll go check me out there, again, I would very much appreciate it. Do me a favor, kids. Get out there and vote. Please. Let's make this happen. Get out and vote for Kamala Harris. I'm telling you, your vote has never, maybe, possibly, had never been more important than it is right now. Let's just end this. Let's get back to good old-fashioned Democrats versus Republicans politics. Let's take all this other circus show out of it, man, if we can. I know how we can. Don't vote for that clown, all right? Honestly, let's just close the door on this and be done and move on to the next thing. That's all. Let's get back to some sort of sense of normalcy. If it's possible, I believe we can make it happen. Let's make it happen. Thanks again for listening. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. And do me another favor, kids. Like and comment on today's episode.
For more of Tom's podcasts, please visit boinkstudios.com.